Hello children, in this lesson you will learn the first form of tense, that is simple present tense. First, let us understand what are tenses. Tenses play a crucial role in the English language. It denotes the time an action takes place. Broadly, there are three main tenses, that is past tense, present tense and future tense. In English, each of these tenses can take four main aspects, that is simple, perfect, continuous, also known as progressive, and perfect continuous. So children, today in this lesson I am going to teach you the first form of present tense, that is simple present tense. Alright, what is the present simple tense? Or the simple present tense is used for actions that happen regularly or are universal truths. So the four main uses of simple present tense are to talk about habits and routines, permanent situations, facts about the world, and finally the very important, talking about states with state verbs. So let's start with habits and routines. Well, when I say I go to school, you know that I do the action regularly. Now you see a timeline on the screen. Let's say this side is the past, over on that side is the future, and in the middle is right now. So you know that I go to school on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. So you can see that it repeats. So this is a habit. And this sentence shows us the first use of the present simple tense, that is to talk about habits and routines, things that we do regularly or repeatedly. Now it would be wrong to say I am going to school, because this is a habit, and for habits you must use the present simple tense. Alright, here are some more examples. Meena visits her parents on weekends. Again, this is something that Meena does regularly every weekend. In our next example, Ima usually has dinner at 8:30, meaning that it is a part of her routine to eat dinner at 8:30 every day. In all these sentences, you should note not to use the continuous form, remember that. Okay, I want you to notice one other thing in these examples. You can see how frequently or how often the action happens. Means that action happens every day, on weekends, etc. When we talk about habits or routines, we normally use these kinds of expressions. The word every, for example, is very common in phrases like every morning, afternoon, every day, every week, month, etc. I said I drink tea every morning. Another example is they go to Mexico on vacation every year. You can also use prepositions like on or in. So apart from these expressions, we also use what are called frequency adverbs. So frequency adverbs describes how often an action happens. So with the present simple tense, we often use adverbs of frequency to say how often we do something. So here is a list of common adverbs like always, frequently, generally, never, etc. Children, if you remember, one of our examples was Ima usually has dinner at 8:30. The word usually is a frequency adverb. You can see the chart of adverbs of frequency. Some of these are positive words like usually or often, which are marked in blue color, percentage. And some are more neutral like sometimes, 50%. And there are some frequency adverbs that are negative like rarely. I rarely watch TV, for instance, which means I watch very little TV. So children, remember these frequency expressions and adverbs. And also remember, when we talk about habits or routines, we don't use continuous or ing forms. Okay, alright. Now let's talk about the next use of the present simple tense. The second use of the present simple is to talk about the permanent situations. What do I mean by that? Well, I have a brother and my brother lives in America. When I say that he lives in America, is that a vacation? No. Is that temporary, just for a week or so? No. It means that my brother lives there permanently. You can see this on the timeline. Maybe he started living there at some point in the past, but it's his home now. So here we are talking about something that is not going to change. So we say that it is a permanent. A common mistake is to say my brother is living in America. If you use an ing or continuous form, then that makes the situation temporary. Here is another example. Raju speaks Spanish. Obviously, this is not going to change. Raju is not going to forget Spanish. So again, this is a permanent situation. And talking about myself, I can say I work as a teacher. It is wrong to say I am working as a teacher. If I say that I am working as a teacher, then it means my job is temporary. Maybe just for a couple of months or so. But my job is a long-term job, so I use the present simple tense. Okay, let's now move on to the third use of the simple present tense. And that is talking about facts. What are facts? Facts are truths, that is, they are statements about the world that are true. For example, the capital of America is Washington. This is a fact about the world. Here are some more examples. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. 2 plus 2 equals 4. These are all true statements. Remember, when we spoke about permanent situations like my brother lives in America, I said those situations are not going to change. Well, these sentences on the screen are also permanent situations. In fact, these are really permanent situations because they have always been true and they are never going to change. The only difference is that these are not personal. I mean personal situations. They talk about the world. With these as well, we don't use continuous forms. Alright, let's now turn to the last topic in our lesson, that is talking about states using state verbs. In the beginning, I said that this use of the present simple is very important because this is the area where children make a lot of mistakes. But what are states? Okay, let's take this example first. I want ice cream. Point is that I cannot say I am wanting ice cream. But why is that? Now, if you remember, I said I drink tea every morning. That's a habit. But if I had tea now, I could say I am drinking tea because it's happening now. In the same way, I want ice cream now. But it's not a habit, it's not a permanent situation. But still, I cannot say I am wanting ice cream. I am drinking tea is okay, but I am wanting ice cream is not right. Well, to understand why that is, you need to know the difference between activities and states. An activity is something that we do physically. It's an action. The verb drink is a real physical action. It starts when I start drinking. It happens continuously. And then it finishes. With this type of verb, you can use both simple and continuous forms. The verb want is not like that. You don't start and finish the word want. And you cannot do this continuously because it is not an action. So we say that it's a state. And as I said before also, we don't normally use state verbs in ing forms. We use them in the present simple tense. We just saw that want is a state verb. In the same way, other verbs that express wants and likes are also state verbs. You can pause the video and look at the words. Let's see some examples. Meera loves to sing. You cannot say Meera is loving to sing. This is wrong. I think Rahul is really smart. Not I am thinking Rahul is really smart. This is wrong statement. Your perfume smells really nice. Your perfume is smelling really nice is incorrect. That house seems to be empty. That house is seeming to be empty is incorrect. I have two brothers. I am having two brothers is incorrect statement. It is not in simple present tense. So children, in this lesson we learned 4 uses of the present simple. First was habits and routines. We looked at some common frequency expressions like every morning, on Fridays, etc. and adverbs like always, sometimes, never, and so on. Then we talked about permanent situation, that is situations that don't change. Then we turned to talking about facts, that is statements about the world that are true. And finally, we discussed states with state verbs. Remember that state verbs are verbs which are not actions. They don't happen continuously and they don't finish. With these, we normally don't use ing forms. If you are ready, it's now time for a test. I want to see if you can use the present simple tense correctly. On the screen, there are few sentences. Some of them are correct and some are wrong. For each sentence, I want you say if it is correct or not. And if a sentence is wrong, change it to the correct form. The 4 uses of the present simple are listed on the screen. So you can look at them and decide your answers. Pause the video now if you want. Think about your answers. Then play the video again and check. Alright, let's look at the answers. Number 1 is wrong. It should be I have 3 sisters because this is a state. The verb have shows relation here. That's why we use the present simple. Second is Rohit eats out once a week. It is correct because it is telling about habit or routine. Third is C. I always get up at 6. So this statement is correct here. I have corrected now. So because this sentence talks about a routine, it's my habit. And D is my grandparents live in India. It is a permanent situation. I don't understand what you are saying. This is the correct sentence and it is telling us the state. Okay children, how many of these did you get right? Let me know in the comment section below. And I hope you enjoyed this lesson and I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you.